What's up, world? This your boy Tyrone Morgan coming to you with not a highlight of the day. Actually, I'm coming to you with a teaching of the day. Um, when I first started this YouTube page, one of the things I wanted to do was a podcast, and also another thing I wanted to do was some teachings on things that I've kind of learned since I've been walking with God more seriously the last 5 years. In that time, one of the paths that the Lord is taking me on is inner healing and dealing with your soul. So a lot of things that you hear me talk about will mostly deal with the soul because that's where God has me at right now. And really me dealing with my soul has affected my ability to grow spiritually. And I believe that every believer, and I believe that's why we have some untransformed believers in the church now, because we never really deal with our soul, um, and we never renew our minds, change the way we think. We must gain the mind of Christ when we accept Christ. So tonight, I want to give a short teaching on why you need soul rehab. And in order to understand why you need it, you must know what a soul is. So your soul is, basic definition is our will, emotions, and intellect. But I hear Dr. Darius Daniels give another definition that I really love, that I think gives some real insight in it. Not my thought, but his, but I loved it, so I took it. Shout out to Darius Daniels, great pastor of Change Church. But anyway, he describes the soul as the mind, will, emotions, imagination, and affections. And he further goes into detail. The mind is the organ of thought. The will is the organ of decision. The emotions affect the will. The imaginations affect our emotions, and the affections affect our imagination. All these things affect our lives. So our soul determines the strength of our spirituality and life in general. It affects everything. Your soul is just a place where trauma hides, pain hides, um, bad decisions, um, things that just happen to you in your life that you really think you have gotten by, but you really have not. Um, so to understand that and what I just said, now you understand why your soul can need rehab. Rehab is just, you know, you need to bring back to original condition. That's what I think rehab means to me. Um, and as we learn that the rehab process can be slow, can bounce back and forth, but just realize if you stay at it, it can change. I am not only a client, I am the president of Soul Rehab. My soul has been intentionally rehabbed by God to put me in a place to help others that had the same problems. But most of the time, we do not understand them problems because we want to think we're all right. Yeah, you can never fix anything that you don't accept. Simple put, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to help you out, because if you listening to this, you need the assistance. God is putting me in a whole different place once I realized that it was my soul that was affecting everything else in my life. So, one of the things that can help you see that your soul need rehab is what I call emotional bleeding. And what does emotional bleeding looks like? Emotional bleeding is when your emotions bleed over into your attitude, to the way you think. Mindset messed up because your emotions are bleeding over. The way you see life, your perspectives, all can be affected from emotional bleeding. And one thing that I most definitely know, the people around you are affected by your emotional bleeding. You bleed on people and you don't even know. You actually accept it as your personality. That's just who I am. No, sir. No, sis, that's not just who you are. You have been emotionally traumatized, and that trauma and pain is coming out through your personality. That is not you. Sarcasm is, hold on, wait for it, part of Soul Rehab. It's bleeding out on people. Getting angry, going from 0 to 100 real quick. It's emotional bleeding. Feeling sorry for somebody all the time. Sometimes putting people in front of you way more than you even think about yourself and others. Called people pleasing. So you can make people happy, so you can feel like somebody's pleased with you. That's what people pleasing is. Even though it may hurt you, or you know you shouldn't be doing it. That's emotional bleeding. Becoming a loner. Yeah, we got some introverts. I think I might be one. But here's the thing. Being alone and introverted is two different things. You're a loner. You know, some of that season that God called us to be alone with him, but some of us that just crawl in a hole and to choose to be a loner because we feel like we can't trust people and everybody gonna do you wrong. So I might as well not mess with nobody. I don't fool with them people. You ever say that or thought that? Guess what? That's emotional bleeding. It is bleeding through your personality. So now that you know what it looks like, let me tell you the things that your soul can need rehab from. Trauma. Trauma is a big thing. A lot of us go through trauma and sometimes we don't even realize it's trauma. We just think something happened. Oh well, I get by it. But what we most of the time do, we put it in a box and put it in our emotional closet. And then at one day, hold on, I don't even want to use that example. I want to use something different because I need to make sure that you get it. Okay, so we got a seed and we got ground. And so when we go through trauma, we plant that seed in the ground. We bury it thinking it ain't going to never come back up. That's not the case. It's going to come back up. When you bury something, it most definitely is going to come back up. Hate to tell you. So that leads me from trauma to grief. Grief is something that when you go through pain, that you continuously relive the emotions of it. That's what grief is. Look, we are people, and we will go through things that will cause us a certain amount of grief. But our ability to recover from that makes it healthy or unhealthy. Look, if you get over something and sometimes you just get over it way too fast, that means you don't deal with grief. That can mean you don't deal with grieving very well. Or if you linger over it for years and years, that means you don't deal with grief well. Some of us are wired different. Certain things that may grieve others don't grieve you. One of the things that I really have come to accept in life, and I don't even really know if it's healthy or not, is that I'm going to lose people, whether I want to or not, whether it's from death, from our seasons are up. It's just we don't fit together no more, or whatever it is. In this life you're going to lose people, and one of the biggest things I had to accept is that losing people don't mean I lose me. That means I accept the part they played in my life and I keep it moving. One of the most important people I lost in my life is my grandma. I loved her to death, thought the world of her. She is the one woman that I know that understood me for sure. But my grandma would never sugarcoat nothing with me. I was right until she got a chance to tell me I was wrong. She rocking with me, even if I'm wrong, but then she gonna tell me that I'm wrong. And I miss that. Haven't found anybody to do that since her. And I have now. I got God. But for a while, I didn't have anybody to do that. So that's what grief can do to you. It can keep you stuck. And that will help lead me to my next thing. Heart attacks. And I'm not talking about the physical ones neither, even though they can cause you grief. Heart attacks are things that happen to you through relationships, friendships, family ties, and romantic relationships. All them things can give you heart attacks. That means something that can happen while you involved in one of them that can cause your heart to ache. Heart attacks is a reason you need soul rehab. Rejection. Man, listen. That is one thing that I have struggled with and still struggle with to a point. I've gotten a lot better with rejection, but I still have a struggle in it. I think I'm on maybe on level 2.5 or 3. I don't know how many levels there is, but I think I'm there. We all experience rejection in some shape, form, or fashion. Didn't get a job, got dropped for another man or another woman, didn't get picked for the sports team that you wanted to try out for, rejected from car loans, whatever it is. We all experience some type of rejection in our life, and the thing is, we all are going to always experience some line of rejection. We may not think we do, but we will. And so we have to really learn how to deal with rejection, or we'll be stuck in areas that we're supposed to prosper in. I'm sorry. I don't know. I might have to edit some of this stuff. But anyway, regret is another reason why your soul might need rehab. Regrets are things that you done that you felt like you could have done a different way or should have done a different way. And now you think about it all the time, and regrets can keep you stuck. Guess what? I don't care who it is, the most successful person that you can think about right now, has made a decision that they regretted. And what they can do is choose to let that decision haunt them, or they can choose to pick up the pieces and move forward. And if they're successful, they picked up the pieces. There may be a part of them that's left there because they refuse to heal in that spot, but they have made a conscious decision to pick up the pieces and move forward. So don't let regret stop you. But what I want you to do, don't let regret rest in the ground with the other seeds that I have just named out, because it will come up sooner or later somewhere in your life. And the next thing, for regret, we can have shame. What is shame? When you make a bad decision, you compound it with the fear of what people got to say about it. Made a bad relationship choice. Man, I shouldn't have done that. I knew better. I knew he won't hit no nothing. I knew she won't hit no nothing. Man, I shouldn't move to North Carolina. I should have stayed in Charlotte. Whatever it is. Don't let shame keep you in that place, because you're not the only person who made a foolish decision. But what you don't want to do is continue on making the same decision over and over and getting in a vicious cycle. And even if you're in that cycle, don't let the shame keep you there and think you can't get out of it. Because if it took you 10 years to get out of it, at least you recognize it and were able to get out of it. So don't let shame keep you from needing soul rehab. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. But anyway, we're back. And the most consequential thing that I can think of that you need soul rehab from, drum roll please, unforgiveness of others, and most definitely yourself. Unforgiveness is our ability to forgive somebody for something they did. And guess who the number one person most of us don't forgive or never learn to forgive? Ourselves. You never forgive yourself for making them bad decisions. You never forgive yourself for not moving when you felt like the Lord was telling you to move. You can never forgive yourself sometimes for not listening to the person who gave you wise advice because you were blinded by the emotions of love. Um, hey, you can even be blinded by the ugly emotion of pride. I ain't gonna do it because you told me to do it. But then you find out that it was a good decision and you should have done it. So that leads right back to regret, then the shame. So unforgiveness can stem all of these things. Because unforgiveness can even cause trauma. So unforgiveness can be the root of all them problems. You know, even if you was molested as a child or abused as a wife, whatever it is, that trauma or that situation can make you feel like you deserved all that. And then you have another level of unforgiveness within yourself. So with this lesson, I want to try to just stress the importance of you understanding what your soul is, which is the mind, will, emotions, and imaginations and affections that Dr. Darius Daniels said. The most commonly used is the mind, will, and emotions is what the soul is. And the definition of what you really need to know why you need soul rehab. It is to clear up some of them bad seeds so they can quit springing up in your personality, in the way you see the world, in the way you see people. So I'm going to end this lesson with that. Stay tuned for part 2. I don't know when I post, but stay tuned. Peace out.